All right, look, we've all felt it. You're in a flow, you're coding, the Claude just, yeah, and Claude just hit a wall. It's been a rough few months of outages and usage limits. That feels like they were designed to stop us from actually finishing a project, but today, everything changed. I'm starting this new series, Learn AI with me, because the tech is moving faster than tutorials can keep up with. I'm not selling you a 10,000 course or some mastermind guru. I'm just a guy who likes to build cool stuff, and I'm going to share exactly how I'm using these tools as they come out. And same, I'll be listening to you guys on how to use it properly. Yeah, I mean, I'm still new to all of this, so but today's episode is going to be the massive Anthropics and SpaceX partnership and why the computing ceiling just got blasted into orbit, literally. Um, so there's a tour that's going on right now. Anthropic's Code had a tour with San Francisco, London, and I believe Tokyo. You can actually do it, attend virtually if that's up your alley. So here's the news that dropped at the Code conference with Claude. Um, they signed a deal with SpaceX, so that's Daddy Musk's company, to take over the entire capacity of Class 1 data center in Memphis, Tennessee. We're talking about 300 megawatts of power and over 220,000 NVIDIA GPU, the H200 series. I think those are the ones that are being um, are, are trying to be sold to the Chinese. So why does this matter to us? Well, because of last quarter, Anthropics didn't have enough power to handle, or I shouldn't say power, enough space um, to handle how many of us were trying to use it. They were literally stopping people from buying pro plans because they were out of room. Yeah, kind of crazy. This deal essentially means that everything is finally back on track. And the wild part, they're actually talking about orbital compute, putting GPU on satellites to bypass the Earth's power grid. This is day one of the space age for AI. So yeah, this is actually pretty exciting stuff. Um, yeah, let's get into the next part here. Okay, so Cloud Code is essentially like a special terminal. It doesn't have to be a terminal, but a special feature um, within Claude. It's part of the Claude Pro, and that's I believe it's about 20 bucks a month. So you also have co-work um, that's with it. So, but for the sake of this conversation, we're only going to be talking about Claude Code. So let's scroll down to higher usage limits. So looking at the numbers on the screen, I don't know if you can see. This is what we're playing with now. The Cloud Code usage just doubled. So usually I hit, because I kind of just dive in head first. I didn't know about context windows. I didn't know about command. I didn't know about, you know, your 30th message down the road is essentially using, you know, I don't know, 15x, 10x of your token from your first prompt. So, and I'll break that down in future videos because that's very relevant. And I'm just, want to show you guys kind of my learning mistakes from this. And I have watched, videos, but not a lot of them are helpful. So, and a lot of gurus out there. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Um, so no more peak hours. Peak hours essentially means that when you're using it, let's say rush hour time is 4 p.m., 5 p.m. after work, or in the morning, and everybody and their grandma wants to use it. Well, that just means there's more traffic going into Claude, and your usage actually are being used faster than if they were during off-peak hours. So yeah, so if you were hitting, so in Cloud Code has a 5 hour refresh for your usage. So if I started using it right now at, let's say, 2 p.m. And I had my first prompt. That means at 7 p.m. it refreshes and I can do it. I can start using Claude again. And most of the time, I finish the prompt, or not the prompt, but the usage, the limit that I'm allotted for the pro plan was probably first hour to maybe into second hour, depending on how long I'm sitting there waiting um, for results. So, but now, if you were hitting your 5 hour limits in like 2 hours, that's over. So now we got the API God mode. So this is for the builders. The tier one input limit went from 30,000 to 500,000 tokens. So that's kind of crazy. Um, Before today, there was about 20 pages of God. Excuse me. Before today, there was about 20 pages of text. Now you can pump 370 pages of context into a single minute of processing. You can finally build an agent that reads your entire code base every time you ask a question without it throwing error. So this is one thing that I don't want to do a comparison right now between the other models, but the other models like Gemini or ChatGPT, I believe, has a lot heavier input token and output token. So, and this is really good to know that they're finally actually increasing the amount of tokens that you can spit in and spit out. So, uh, why now is the time to learn? Well, the reason I want us to learn this together is because workflow that were impossible 6 months ago are now standard. Um, Yeah, I used to tell people don't build multi-agent swarms yet. The rate limit kills you. I was wrong about this. So I'm still learning about the agents. I built 6 agents. I had one for uh, like more like I shouldn't say like a board of directors, but like a directors for each department that specializes in their own things. So, and I'll break that down in a future video as well. So. If you had a project that broke, an agent that was too slow, or a script that kept timing out, retest it today. The wall is gone. I'm going to show you how I'm setting up managed agents that can use webhooks and Dreaming to update their own memory. We're going to figure out the best way to prompt these high limit model without burning through our tokens. So you might be asking, what are tokens? Well, uh, tokens is essentially like a currency. Um, when you are exchanging something, let's say you want to type a prompt, um, and you want to use pictures or audios or image or a video as a reference. Well, each of those reference points has their own set of tokens that they use. So if you want, to refer to as an example, as a image, you're using 1,000 tokens. And I believe for the pro plan, you're limited to 200,000 tokens per 5 hours, I believe. So yeah, in and that's when I say that your 30th prompt essentially is like 10x or 15x or 20x your initial prompt, just because it needs to read all of the memories, the entire prompt that you typed from the first one to your 30th one, and it uses all of those as a reference point. That's why it uses so much memory and so much token. And I used to make the mistake of making the prompt, and I would do continue because I need to pick up where I left off. Well, every time I select continue, and I look at my usage rate, the first 30 seconds I burn through 40, 50% because I'm reading through all of the past prompt from that project or from that thread. So let me see. Anthropic is clearly going for the enterprise crown, so they're heavily pushing all of these models and all of these features. So they are essentially kind of opening the door for the enterprise model. Mythos. I think that's only for like invitation, very, very selected few. So they just launched a massive venture with Goldman Sachs, Blackstone to get Claude into the mid-market business. They're expanding to London, to Tokyo to deal with international data as well. But for us as individual independent builders, it just means the tool we use every day just got a massive upgrade in reliability. They are even committing to covering electricity hike for local communities where they build these data centers. So let's see. So new computing power. Yeah. So agreement with Amazon, agreement with Google and Broadcom, Microsoft and Nvidia. So bottom line, scarcity. I shouldn't. It's over, but not because you're still limited to what you can do. But it's a little bit more lenient on what you can and can't do. Your projects might go a little bit longer, get a little bit better results. So infrastructure is catching up to the intelligence. So, and I'm going to be, making these new videos, maybe daily, maybe weekly. We'll see what the routine is, to see if, for the community to push these limits. This isn't a course, it's a conversation. If you found something cool in the new Claude update that I missed, drop it in the comments. I'll test it out in the next video. Yeah, hit subscribe if you want to build alongside with me. I'll see you in episode 2. So, thanks for watching.